We all know about Sir Bruce Dickinson's career with Iron Maiden. That's where mostly everyone knows where he's from, but he was also in Samson, and he also had a solo career. Do you know pretty much all of the albums from Bruce Dickinson? Can you rank them? That's what we're going to try to do here today. We're going to rank all of Bruce Dickinson's solo albums. So let us get right to it.
Everybody, Gordon Titsworth here from Images of Eden, and you are watching the Crash Course YouTube channel with our local homegrown press guy, Trevor Crash Knight, here in York, PA.
What is going on, guys? We are going to be doing Bruce Dickinson's solo album ranking here. And this is coming off of an idea that I had because Bruce Dickinson just released a brand new album a couple weeks ago. And I thought, you know what? Let us just go through all of his solo albums and see which one is truly the best one, or at least some opinions of which could be his best one. So first and foremost, we are going to go to an album from 1996, and that is going to be Skunkworks. Now, this one is easily my least favorite.
Look like garbage.
For people that are aware of me and the Crash Course channel, we don't usually do too much grunge alternative metal type stuff, which, it's not my forte. I don't really delve into that subgenre of metal hardly at all. And that is kind of what we get here with Skunkworks from Bruce Dickinson. Now, we kind of can give him a pass a little bit, I guess, because he did kind of want this to be a whole different band, and he didn't really want this in his solo catalog. He wanted Skunkworks to be basically a whole different thing. And but yeah, so the two singles off of this was Back from the Edge and Solar Confinement. And these songs, there's nothing really off of this. I don't even own this album, honestly, and I just there's nothing really on here that I come back to that I feel like needs to be on the iPod. It's just one that I can just pass off. But if you like it, that's one thing, because like I said, I'm just not the biggest alternative or grunge fan, so that alone just kind of pushes me out of, I just don't care for that vibe much. And but like I said, if you guys are into it, that's cool. But for me, it is coming in here at number 7. Alrighty, so coming in here at number 6, guys, we got 2005's Tyranny of Souls. Now, this one here, something about it, I don't know if, to me, it just doesn't really sound focused. I think that is what some of the problem is for me, because Roy Z did help write and do a lot of this album, because obviously Bruce, this is the album that when Bruce came back and to Iron Maiden, and this was around the same time as like Brave New World, Dance of Death, and the Matter of Life and Death. So this is like right in during all that time. Bruce is preoccupied, obviously, with Maiden, Torn, doing all that stuff there. And this is just kind of just seems like some leftovers, or just something that's just not focused. And we hear that. I just don't care for just the tone of the album as well. There is some stuff here I do like. Navigate the Seas of the Sun, I do like that a lot. River of No Return is fine. I like the title track as well. Devil on a Hog is a strange one to me. It kind of doesn't fit to me. I like it, but it just seems like kind of melodic, like something that would have been released in like the early 90s from Bruce. Just has that kind of vibe to it, but it has the tone of this album. It just seems a little off. But it works for what it is, but But to me though, Tyranny of Souls, I just think it's just not really focused for the most part. I think that's the biggest gripe of it. It's like, kind of like everything wrong with Chemical Wedding. You know, whatever Chemical Wedding bested at, everything on the opposite side, not very good side, is what Tyranny of Souls is. I don't know. This album just has not really grown on me ever since I had it, and I had it for plenty of years. I had pretty much all these albums for plenty of years, except for the brand new one. But it just never really does anything for me each time I put it in. And it just has to go here at number 6 because there is plenty of other stuff here that I gravitate to. And that's one of the other things when I do my rankings here of albums for all the bands. It's an album just obviously how good it is, in combination to how much I visit it, and when I think of that band or artist, is it one that I play a lot more than the others? You know, just the repeatability of it, just the accessibility of it. Like, do I want to keep hearing this album? Can I keep hearing this album? And that the more I listen to an album, the higher it obviously goes up in the ranks. You know, and that's just what, you know, and that's why this is all opinion based. So don't, you know, if this is your favorite album, that's cool. I get it, but for me, I just think it's kind of unfocused. Not one that I visit much, if at all, honestly. Just maybe for a couple songs, like I said. But, guys, coming in at number 6 here, we got Tyranny of Souls. All right, so coming in here at number 5, guys, we have 1994's Balls to Picasso. This is an album, another one with Roy Z as well. This is an album where some of it was written while Bruce was still in Iron Maiden. This album did go to number 185 on the top 200 Billboard chart, and then also in the UK it did hit number 21. So it did actually okay. I mean, for the time anyway, 1994. And this is another one that kind of seems a little unfocused, if you will, because like I said, some of it was still written while he was in Maiden. He had different bands try to come in and play with him, you know, and then after a couple tries at it, he kind of just landed on Roy Z and the band that he ended up doing with. But he had a band I think called Skin. At first trying to do stuff with them for solo stuff, but yeah, I mean, this is actually the first album that I bought from Bruce's solo career. So I was probably 14 maybe that I bought this. So the very first track you hear, which is kind of strange, it's okay, Cyclops. It's almost 8 minutes long, which is kind of weird to start off a track, especially back then for Bruce and Maiden, really, that long. And you just weren't really used to it. But I mean, if you look at the songs now from Bruce and Maiden, I mean, that's nothing now. But you had other songs here, 1,000 Points of Light, which is fine. Laughing in a Hiding Bush is kind of weird, you know. I mean, this is kind of like a 1994 album, you know, and just the kind of being a little bit unfocused a little bit too, kind of you can kind of tell something. This is one that actually, when I first bought it when I was young, I only liked one song on here, and that's Tears of a Dragon, which is an amazing song. This is classic Bruce. This is what you want from, you know, Bruce Dickinson. At least that's what I want. That's easily the best song off this album, and it even has a Maiden feel to it. And yeah, it grew on me over time. I will say that this album, it did grow over me. I do probably have there's 10 tracks total. I do probably have about 6 tracks on the iPod that I do listen to. But it's just an album. It's another one. Obviously it's ranked 5th, so I do visit it a little bit more than the previous 2 albums. But it's one where it's do I really feel like listening to this if I want to listen to Bruce's solo stuff? It's oh man, I mean, but Tears of a Dragon, easily top 5 Bruce Dickinson song, I would say. I can listen to that every time that song comes on. It doesn't get skipped, not at all. I can put it, especially in this era. I mean, this is probably my favorite era of Maiden, to be honest with you. One of my favorite eras, the '90s. You know, because obviously Fear of the Dark. I really dig that album. I really dig X Factor with Blaze Bayley. I like the Blaze Bayley stuff. Forgive me, forgive me. I like the Blaze Bayley stuff. Certainly, Tears of a Dragon though. Still, with all that being said, Tears of a Dragon is a really, really good song. It's up there with anything else that Maiden did, and Maiden and Bruce did during this time period. Which is, I don't know, actually. This is a really good time. The 90s were a really good time for Bruce, no matter which album it was. And some of the really, really good stuff is really, really good. So let us move on from Balls to Picasso. It's okay. Nothing crazy. Still worth checking out if you're a fan of Bruce and like all of his stuff. But for me, it's more of a grower than anything else. So coming in at number 5, guys, that is Balls to Picasso. Already coming in at number 4. I know a lot of people are going to flip shit probably on this, but it's just one that I like it. But it's one, there's obviously 3 other albums that I visit more than I do this album, and that is going to be 1998's The Chemical Wedding.
That's right. I said it. I meant it. I'm here to represent it.
Now with this one, I get it. I know a lot of people like it. I like it too, but it's just I visit the 3 that are in front of it a lot more than this one. That doesn't take anything away from it. It did reach number 55 in the UK albums chart, and it did have one single, "Killing Floor." So here you do have Adrian Smith and Roy Z on guitars here on this album, and I do like what Bruce was trying to do here, or did, because it's a good album. Don't get me wrong, it is a good album, but I like the epicness of it that he tried to. I think he tried to achieve like some kind of like epicness theme storytelling to it, and I get it. I like it. I like what he was trying to do here with that. But at the end of the day, there's just, I just don't visit it that much. I don't know how to explain it, because you do have Gates of Horizon, good. The Tower, good. Chemical Wedding, good. Trumpets of Jericho, good. The Alchemist, I like these songs, but it's certainly one that you do have to listen to. I would say out of all of these, one that you have to listen to the whole album. If you listen to this album, it's not like a couple songs that you can just take off, obviously you can listen to it with just a couple songs off the album, but it's better in the context of the album. I have to say that probably for most of these albums, this is the album where it's like you should probably listen to the whole thing if you're just gonna listen to a couple songs. I like the theme of it. I like the vibe that he was going after. Production's fine. It's okay. Nothing's wrong necessarily with this album. It's just one that I just don't visit that much, and I know a lot of people love this album, and I'm with them. I really like it as well, but some of these others, I could just talk more about the others. I listen to the other 3 albums here more. There's more, for me, memorable stuff, I would say. But like I said, there's good stuff like Bruce singing Chemical Wedding Day and stuff like that. Like that, I like the sound. That's a good. It's a good vibe. I like the atmosphere of the album. I like it, but it's just one that I just don't, visit. And it did. I know it did reach like 500 greatest rock and roll or metal albums of all time. I know it hit that. I think it was like number in the high 300s. So people do like this album. I know I'm going to be on the wrong side of this, but hey, it's just what I visit the most, and this is one that is in the middle of the pack. But guys, Chemical Wedding, Coming in at number 4. All right, coming in at number 3, guys, we have the brand new album from Bruce Dickinson, and that is the Mandrake Project. So this album did come in here so far at 176 on the top 200 US Billboard chart. And then we also have it coming in here at number 3 on the UK albums chart. So very good. People were ready for this. People wanted this, and I agree. I am quite impressed with this album. I listened to this probably like 10 times now the last like 2 weeks or more. It's probably been more than that, honestly. And it gets better. And I was super impressed with this, and I like the variety here on this album. Now I do obviously know that this took a while to do. It's been like what, since 2005, Tyranny of Souls, since Bruce released something in the solo field. But I like it a lot, guys. Here, Afterglow Ragnarok, first track really good. Rain on the Graves, very melodic. This album. This album's not in the melodic way of, say, Tattooed Millionaire, not like that, but more heavy. And just a lot of different instruments going in here with this as well. You even have like Resurrection Man like doing some chunky Black Sabbath doomy sounding like riffs and beats and stuff in that song. Really good. I like that a lot. Oh man, and you have also Finger in the Wounds, just Facing the Mirror, a slow Empire of the Clouds type deal. A lot of piano in that. Heartfelt, Bruce singing. I like this album. I don't think this album's really going to go anywhere for me. Because I don't think it's just because it's new either. Sometimes that does happen. New albums do affect people's rankings, but I think this is pretty good. I can see myself visiting this in a year and be like, okay, yeah, I still really like the stuff that's on here. Not too much weak stuff. I can see myself visiting. I probably visit this album more the last like 2-3 weeks since it came out, more so than Chemical Wedding, sadly. The last year, or 2 years even. And it's just, I know people are gonna hate that, but I like this album a lot. I like the Mandrake Project. I like what he did here. The whole band sounds good. Roy sounds good. It's just, Bruce still has shit in him left. Bruce still sounds really good on this album. I just really like it a lot. I like it a lot. I like the diversity of this album too, if that makes sense. Yeah, check out the brand new Bruce Dickinson, the Mandrake Project from 2024. All right, coming in here at number 2, we got the top 2 here, and now I will say this is tough. This is really tough for me because I have 2 different styles, if you will, of metal, and obviously I do love the one style of metal a lot. Obviously, we talk about it almost all the time on the show. We talk about it the most, I would say, on the show. But this was tough, guys. This coming in at number 2, we have 1997's Accident of Birth.
Hell yes.
Alrighty, so you have this album here, Accident of Birth. You have it on the UK albums chart at number 53. And then you also have the 2 singles off of this album, Accident of Birth title track, and then Man of Sorrows. Awesome song. Whether it's the Spanish version, whether it's the orchestra version, or the regular version, awesome. And that's another thing too. I remember reading Man of Sorrows was actually done in the early 90s, like demoed and stuff, but it just never was on a Bruce Dickinson album until now in 1997. But this album is so good. This album, man, this was probably the second album I had ever of Bruce Dickinson, and it only gets better with time as well. It was good right from the start, but it just keeps getting better and better over time for me. Uh, Bruce finally comes back into form after Skunkworks here. This is what everyone wants to hear from Bruce. Just that metal style of vocal, music, the whole 9 yards, lyrics and such. You do have Adrian Smith and Roy Z as well on this album. Oh man, this is so damn good. I don't know what else. What else can you say about this album? This is what you expect and love from Bruce. Everything about this album here. Like I said, you had Man of Sorrows, title track, really good. Oh man, Welcome to the Pit, Omega. I just Star Children. That's another really good one. Taking the Queen is cool, and then this one is really good. This is a good album finisher. Arc of Space, so slow, so like the slow tempo. I listen to that song as much as possible. That is so good. It's such a good song. So many really, really good standalone tracks as well on this album. Please, either way, listen to the Spanish version or the orchestra version of Man of Sorrows. You will not be disappointed. But even like with this bonus disc here, what I have here, even like the demos of like stuff that didn't make the album is really, really good as well. And I like it. I mean, there's not much wrong with this album at all, and that's why it comes in at number 2. If I didn't have a certain love for the first album here that we're going to talk about, this would easily be number 1, but I think I visit the number 1 choice just slightly more than I do Accident of Birth here. But that takes nothing away from Accident of Birth. And this is where you want Bruce to be. This is even more than Chemical Wedding, because like I said with Chemical Wedding, the tone, the epicness is there. But for me, something is missing just slightly on the Chemical Wedding. But I think everything is perfect here on, Accident of Birth. Really, really good. Everything he did on this album is really good. The slow stuff, the medium tempo stuff, the fast, heavy stuff, really, really good. And it's like, if you're comparing it to Maiden at the time, you had Virtual XI about to come out. And this, as much as I love Blaze, this album probably is better than Virtual XI, which I do like XI.
What?
Which I know a lot of people don't. But I think there's some really good tracks on XI. But this is where, people probably were starting, your average Maiden fan were starting to be like, hey, Bruce is still doing metal stuff, sounding really good, and then you're over here with Angel and the Gambler, 8 minutes long. So, that you have that kind of dynamic going on here as well. But that takes nothing away from just the standing alone, how good it is. But Accident of Birth, 1997, guys, please check it out. All right, guys, finally we get the number 1, and you probably know by now, if you know Bruce Dickinson's catalog, what is number 1, and that is going to be 1990's Tattooed Millionaire.
Hey, now you speak my language here.
Oh man, this is an awesome album. I mean, I know a lot of Maiden fans or just heavy metal fans in general probably look down upon this album just because of how party-like or tongue-in-cheek it is, but you do have Yannick Gears before, or I guess technically while he was in Maiden, because this is 1990, same with Yannick Gears' first album with Maiden being No Prayer for the Dying. As you can see right here, No Prayer for the Dying, 1990, same year. Now, which is an interesting thing here too, because I love this whole album of Tattoo Millionaire. It did go number 100 in the US Top 200 Billboard charts, and I think it hit the top 15, if I'm not mistaken, in the UK. So it had a little bit of a run, if you will. It did okay, and I know it sounds like Bruce kind of shuns this album a little bit, like it was all just a joke. that kind of deal. Like, don't, it's not a serious album. I was just playing around or whatever. Which, okay, that's cool and all, but I doubt at the time he was saying that. Like, obviously you're thinking about leaving Maiden somewhat. You're getting tired of that. Your first solo output isn't going to be a joke and not being serious about it. So I think there's a little bit of you know, looking back, revisionist history, if you will, on that, in my opinion. Because, dude, this album's really good. So you have Son of a Gun, which is really good. Like, a serious song, not so much tongue-in-cheek like some of the other songs on this album. And that's a song that a lot of Bruce fans that were Maiden fans don't really talk about hardly at all, and that's surprising because that is one that fits kind of right in there with some of Bruce's good stuff and some of Maiden's good stuff, especially of this era. But then you have the title track, Tattooed Millionaire, obviously talking about Nikki Sixx, talking about the glam guys at the time, talking about the lifestyle and such. Good. I mean, really good single to play. Had a music video. The third track, Born in '58, is okay. It kind of grew on me over time. Not my favorite at all. Probably my least favorite on the album. Other than the cover, All the Young Dudes. That could have stayed on. I know a lot of people like that. It did pretty well as a single over in the UK, but man, I don't need it on this album at all. And that goes to the other point of around the same time, obviously, Bruce Dickinson did write for a movie soundtrack, Bring Your Daughter to the Slaughter, which obviously everyone knows the Iron Maiden version of the same year. And I just kind of think if Bruce did put Bring Your Daughter to the Slaughter on his solo album here, this album might have been even bigger because Bring Your Daughter to the Slaughter, I think, is the only Iron Maiden #1 single they ever had. So when you think of it like that, this album could have been a lot bigger. This might have even went gold or platinum if that was the case and it got pushed the same way that something from Maiden got pushed, obviously. Which obviously Maiden was coming off a great album, big seller as well, Seventh Son of a Seventh Son, To No Prayer for the Dying. So obviously they were getting the publishing, the marketing, promotion, stuff like that. So, but I would imagine Bruce would have had the same type deal, somewhat, not obviously not as big and stuff, but I like this album. You got Hell on Wheels, Gypsy Road, not the Cinderella Gypsy Road, but another Gypsy Road that's really good, not as good, but good though, nonetheless. Dive, dive, dive. And then you got the title track, All the Young Dudes. Like I said, take that off for No Prayer for the Dying. You got something here. You got something really, really good. Then track number 8, Licking the Gun. Zulululu, No Lies to finish off the track. It's just a fun album, guys. I mean, don't get me wrong. Musically, atmospherically, all the 9 yards. Is this his best album? Probably not, as far as those categories go. But to me, this album's so fun. I like this style, this subgenre of metal a lot. Obviously, as you can tell behind me and such. But I think Bruce did a good job here doing this type of deal. And it's my favorite. I visit this album a lot. Every time I listen to Bruce, I gotta listen to something off this album, and that says something to me. Anyway, obviously, this is all my opinion, obviously. So it's really good, and I like it a lot. Yannick Gears does some good guitar work and good solos on this album. I'm really impressed, which I know a lot of people talk shit on Yannick too when he was in Maiden. And I'm like, come on. I mean, sure, he does dance around maybe a little bit too much with the guitar on stage and stuff like that. But I mean, whatever. Who cares? He's having fun. Who gives a shit? But guys, if you haven't listened to this album, Tattooed Millionaire, for a while, please revisit it. It might have gotten better for you over time, just like some of these other ones of Bruce's catalog got better for me over time. And I think, if you listen to it with an open mind, listen to it on a Friday night or a Saturday night when you're ready to go out and hang out with your friends or party or something like that. you'll be in a little bit different headspace. Same thing with like Iron Maiden X Factor. Don't listen to the X Factor when you're going out on a weekend. It's not going to work. It's just not good. Listen to the X Factor, in a dark room, or under the right atmosphere, in a depressed mood or something like that. Then it totally works. But same kind of deal with this. But I visit this at all the time when we're talking Bruce, and it's just really good. The band is cool. The band's good. It's just a solid album, guys. I don't know. You can make fun of it for how tongue in cheek it is and stuff like that, and how I guess maybe immature or bubblegummy it is, but I don't think so. There's some solid tracks on here that aren't tongue in cheek, and especially if you would have put "Bring Your Daughter to the Slaughter," I think it would have done a lot better. Especially looking back on it as well too for people. So number one, we had coming in here at Tattooed Millionaire. Number two, Accident of Birth. Number three, we had the brand new Mandrake Project, which was quite impressive to me, quite surprising to me. So you have here at number four, Chemical Wedding. I know, that's blasphemy to put Chemical Wedding at 4, but to me, I just don't visit it that much, guys. But good. I liked the atmosphere to it. I like what Bruce was trying to do with it. There is some solid writing, solid songs on here, but it's just one that I just don't visit the most out of his catalog. Then you got coming in here at number 5, Balls to Picasso, 1994. And then you got coming in at number 5 or 6? Coming in number 6, Tyranny of Souls, and then 7 you had Skunkworks. Guys, let me know in the comments what your guys' ranking is, because I am quite interested here to see where the new one even lands. Where does I know Chemical Wedding is probably gonna go 1 for a lot of people, but I want to know where the new one, the Mandrake Project, kind of ranking files here in your guys' ranking. So also please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. That helps all the algorithm stuff, helps us reach you, helps us reach other people, other metalheads as well. Keep this stuff alive. Keep it all good. We bring you guys interviews. We bring you guys some underground stuff as well that people need to hear about. And that's all we try to do. We try to have fun. We try to keep the party going. But guys, until next time, stay out of that collateral damage, and we will see you guys later.
Yeah, I wrote that. It's called I Want to Rock Your Body. And then in parentheses it says to the break of dawn.